Nintendo's in trouble. Hey, how's it going, YouTube? It's your homeboy Lil. Appreciate you for checking in. And right now, we're about to check out a video from the homie Penguin Zero on You Don't Hate Nintendo Enough. Apparently, we ain't hating on them enough. And I've been hearing a lot about what's been going on ever since they did my game Power World dirty with all these lawsuits and all this. I just think it's actually pretty dope. I actually just in my small smite fight way of going against Nintendo, I still play Power World pretty consistently, even though it's not as good as it used to be. Like, it's still pretty dope. And I'm like, nah, bro, you're not gonna do it. But anyways, enough of my tangent. Let's go ahead and get into the video and see what's going on, y'all.
You all know I'm not a big Nintendo enthusiast. Love their games, hate the company. I have not bought a Nintendo product in a long time now, and I don't have any plans on starting anytime soon. I just do not agree with the company's business practices, full stop. And I am proven time and time again to be on the correct side of history with this personal decision of mine. I cannot stand this company. I'm sure a lot of you are seeing the headlines right now about how Nintendo has successfully filed a patent in the US on summoning a character and letting it fight another. Basically, the media is claiming that this...
I will say this, like, I play games pretty consistently, but I wouldn't consider myself like a gamer or anything. But it seems wrong to me that a company can file a patent on like a gaming mechanic. You know what I mean? Like something like summoning a character and letting it fight another. Like, I don't even understand how they got that patent, right? Like, there's so many other games that literally. So Yu-Gi-Oh can't make a game? Like, that'd be crazy, right? I don't know, but let's see.
patent is going to stop other games from having summoning that will allow the summon to follow you and fight others for you, which is a very basic gameplay mechanic for tons and tons and tons of games. Summoning has been a staple in game.
Thank you. I was like, I can't think of any off the top. I hope he named some, but forever. Like, that's nuts.
Since the beginning of time, since the first couple of cavemen banging stones together, thinking of video games in his head. Summoning has just always been there. Obviously, this is laser focused on POW World because Nintendo is deep on that case. They're pulling out all the stops. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to recruit God Almighty to come down and smite POW World HQ for the sin of stepping on Pokemon's creature-catching toes. But tons of people are worried with the way that the patent is currently filed that this will hit things far beyond just creature-catching games. It will hit tons of products that have summoning as a mechanic, which is a very basic gameplay element. So things like Final Fantasy, Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, or even classes in video games that use pets and minions. So like...
I think that whenever you patent something like a gaming mechanic, it goes into something where, like, what if that company or that game, like... I'm probably gonna be showing my age with this one, but with like Ubisoft and stuff like that. It'd be crazy if a company, like, if they went out of business, but they had like patented the kickflip or like just the whole essence of like, okay, you jump with the board and then you do a trick, and or even just like you're riding a board, and then now forever nobody could ride a board in a game. Like, that'd be insane, right?
Diablo with necromancy, World of Warcraft with Hunter, where you'd summon your pets to go attack the bad guys, that kind of thing. They believe that this patent is also potentially going to have ramifications on that, which again is a very basic gameplay element that games have used for decades. And I've now read through the patent, suffered through all of those pages, because I could not believe that this would even be something that could be successfully filed, because it's unenforceable. Like, you can't expect every game that uses summoning to now not be able to do that because they'd, be fucking suckling off the teat of Nintendo's patent. There's just no world where that would actually go through properly. It couldn't. And after the agonizing misery of going through all of these pages, which at times feel unnecessarily bloated in explanations, especially their background, like, Jesus Christ, you could have boiled that down to like a page or two. Like, holy shit, that's like me explaining a peanut butter and jelly in like fucking 2,000 words. But like, I went through all of this. And it's...
No, honestly, like, with the patents and everything like that, they do actually get really crazy, but I guess it's so that there's no chance. It's like why contracts are so long. It's like you got to fill up every single loophole that's in it, or else like it gets exploited, which in this case it should. But
Seems like a lot of it is pretty specific, though I do think there is wiggle room for some broad interpretations of the filing. It seems like what they are specifically claiming are kind of pretty like laser guided on Pal World itself. It seems like they're mainly just using patents as a weapon solely for Pal World. But I do think it opens the door that there could be some problems down the line in other avenues. But I would be very surprised to see this patent actually having an effect on any games currently out there that aren't Pal World, which I still think is just dog shit. And I hate this direction Nintendo takes these days where they patent everything. Everything Nintendo has ever used in a game, Nintendo now wants to patent to stop others from even thinking about exploring creative options with those kind of mechanics. I think that is so anti.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it like this. I've been thinking of it the whole time like this too. Like, could you imagine if the game NBA 2K patented that their gaming mechanic was like going up to the rim, jumping up, and then dunking and coming back down. So now no game, no basketball game can now do the dunk mechanic or the alley oop mechanic. That'd be crazy. I don't even know how they got away with this. Like,
Creative expression, and it is stifling to creativity in this medium. I think it super sucks. So even if this is specific enough to only hurt Pal World, I still think this is fucking horrible overall. Where anytime there's a game that they have issue with, they'll just patent things around it so that way they can more effectively take them down. So let's go ahead and take a deeper dive here into exactly what they've now registered, what Nintendo owns entirely that no one else can touch anymore. This is their holy grail mechanics. Performing control of moving a player character on a field in a virtual space based on a moving operation input. Performing control of causing a sub-character to appear on the field based on a first operation input. And when an enemy character is placed at a location where the sub-character is caused to appear, controlling a battle between the sub-character and the enemy character by a first mode in which the battle proceeds based on an operation input, and when the enemy character is not placed at the location where the sub-character is caused to appear, starting automatic control of automatically moving the sub-character that has appeared, and performing control of moving the sub-character in a predetermined direction on the field based on a second operation input, and when the enemy character is placed at a location of a designation, controlling a battle between the sub-character and the enemy character by a second mode in which the battle automatically proceeds. I know that jargon can be a little confusing and hard to understand exactly what it's saying.
I just want to say this with this is if you have to go this far to destroy a game just because it's kind of similar, and honestly, Power World is similar to Pokemon in the fact that they're kind of cute monsters, right? Like, that's the only similarity because you don't build stuff in Pokemon. You're not trying to like survive in Pokemon, or you don't have to gather up. Like, it's really like a survival game, and the creatures just help you survive. As whereas Pokemon is you're going into the wild. You're just a young go hard trying to catch some of these Pokemon creatures and battle them. Like, they're not even similar games.
Unfortunately, that's just how a lot of patent filings sound, like somebody overdosing while trying to explain string theory. This article kind of breaks it down into like what exactly it means. So like move character in virtual space, summon character, call it sub-character, by which means it's not the player character, for example, a little monster like a Pokemon that the player has at its disposal. Then there's alternating scenarios here where the sub-character is executed in these games, but the patent...
Damn! I just skipped ahead because I was honestly like, I was over here like back in school. What? What? Like, what were, what? And like, this is insane.
isn't aiming to just patent everything you read in that flowchart. Reading through this patent, it is looking at these sub-characters that get summoned, and if they are summoned on top of an enemy in a persistent environment, it will automatically fight the enemy. If it is summoned when there is no enemy present, it will follow the player around performing autonomous actions, that kind of thing. Specifically, I believe it would be
That is literally not even Pal World. You could summon your pal, you know what I mean? And command them not to fight. I'm pretty sure you can't do that in Pokemon. But it'd be pretty crazy if Pal World patented that so that Pokemon couldn't use that.
manual versus
Greed is
automatic. So
real,
if a game
y'all.
has both
Greed
manual and
is real.
automatic battling for these summons, then these would apply. So like if your summoned skeletons or something as a necromancer, if there are no enemies, they will go find one and then automatically fight it, I believe, would then be an application. Again, it is pretty confusing, but what they are listing here with their Pokemon flow is just examples of what like they have and what they aim to protect through these patents. The claims are the important parts of what they are filing, which many are interpreting as pretty broad. And there is room that it could be viewed broadly. Yes, it seems like it looks to, put the lock and key on Nintendo's toys so no one ever gets to play with them again. But the way that you can read this filing does apply to.
And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Whenever it's like, okay, you filed a patent, and obviously I couldn't see Nintendo going out of business, but even with all the hate, but like with a smaller company being able to patent a gaming mechanic and then they go out of business, but they still have the patent. So it's just a dead gaming mechanic now. It's kind of similar to if you guys are into music or hip hop or anything like that. But it's like whenever a record label will sign an artist because they're kind of up and coming and they have some star power, but the main person on their label, that's still their main objective. So they'll sign this person, flowers, all the signing, man, here's your car and all this. And then they'll never put your album out. So they like just silenced you. And that's what Nintendo's doing. It's like, bro, I loved y'all. I had the first set of Pokemon cards that came to the US. Like that I'm a big fan. This is turning me off to Nintendo, which I never thought I'd say. Dude.
To more than just like the creature catching aspect of Nintendo Pokemon games and stuff like that. Like, I can understand confusion because it is confusing. It is weird. It is messy. And this is entirely uncalled for and unnecessary. And even again, if it is specific to Power World alone, this threat of a patent that Nintendo owns around summoning and certain things with summoning might just be a deterrent from someone else out there looking to explore a creature catching game or a game that uses some kind of summoning mechanics in like a container. Because Nintendo now has like the Pokeballs and like creatures held in something that you throw. Like, them just having so many patents that they squat on and them being as litigious and aggressive as they are, that in and of itself can just be a weapon. Like that fear of Nintendo coming at you legally for one of your gameplay ideas that maybe doesn't have anything to do with like Pokemon, but it could still fall under their interpretation of a patent that now they don't want to like mess around with that idea anymore because they can't afford to get sued by Nintendo.
For video games, y'all. The thing that people made because they were like, man, we just want people to be able to be entertained in their home. They started off as, how do we get the arcade into the home? Because we want that. You know what I mean? And now it's like, dude, Nintendo, you guys aren't even fun. Y'all are making my skin crawl with this one. Honestly, I think we can cut it right there because I think bro is going to get into his whole recap and I want to do a recap because it's my show. You feel me? How do y'all feel about this? Like, is anybody else disgusted by the level of greed? Because I am. How much money is enough money? You know what I mean? Like, I heard that now the Switch 2, if I'm not mistaken, is like, what was it, like $500? No, I think it was like $400 or something like that. And then the Switch 1 is like $100 cheaper, even though it's been out for like 10 years. No updates other than the OLED, maybe an improved battery and everything. And it just goes to show these corporations, it's like, dude, do you want my blood too? What more do you want from me? They got $400 handheld console. They have 80 to $100 games, maybe some 60. I don't know if they made the jump to 100 yet, but it's just crazy, man. It makes you not even want to play games, and like my man was about to say, or what he was saying, is that like it makes people who kids who had a great idea or had wanted to get into this space not even want to it. And that's honestly like, I really wanted to do more like story based stuff on YouTube, like recaps of movies and stuff like that, and getting around the copyright and everything, and having to figure out different ways and different things you could cut in so that you could get a copyright, kind of made me not want to do that anymore, you know, and just kind of focus on reactions. But anyway, I'm tangenting. I must have cared about this more than I actually thought I did. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about it in the comments. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you really liked it. I hope that you did. And you know, as always, I understand that y'all could have been anywhere in the world, anywhere on the internet, but instead you came to kick it with your homeboy Lil. Preach, logging out.